Hey, Dan Passarelli here. Well, it's the end of the week and SPY ended up down 1.12% on the close. This little bigger than average drop was a result of Iran retaliating and sending some missiles into Tel Aviv, and the conflict potentially escalating maybe further as we go into the weekend. We will see how that plays out and get more details. In the meantime, here are some things to think about for Monday, just in case the conflict spreads. So some of the obvious things to think about are the market in general is likely to fall if the escalation continues, and the VIX would be likely to continue rising. But there are certain sectors that there would be individual plays in as well, and some of those began playing out today already. First of all, defense contractors like Lockheed Martin up today, and ones like NOC, General Dynamics, all those. Because of where this conflict is located, of course, that would have an effect on oil. And so companies like ExxonMobil and Chevron, even those like Schlumberger, they all started, well, they continued their tick up. While tensions have been going on, they've been ticking up over the last week or so. And then, of course, there's some other ones that might be obvious to some people, and that would be gold, symbol GLD, just made a fresh new all-time high, or did we tie with April 22nd here? The high was 317.63 then, and 317, oh no, it was actually 3 cents higher on April 22nd, interestingly. But instead of just gold, some of the gold miners like Newmont Mining, FCX, Freeport McMoran. Now that one, they mine a lot of copper as well, but some gold too. People don't think about them as gold miners, but they do mine for gold as well as copper. They're up from yesterday. Strangely, not really any major, well, they're down from yesterday's close. Strangely, that one didn't really take off quite as much. Silver miners, let's take a look at them. Not really. Silver has been a very interesting one in that it hasn't really participated in the rally to the extent that gold has. And then there's some other ones that maybe people don't really think too much about, and that would be some of the shipping and tanker stocks like Frontline. That one's up already. Scorpio, up. And then some of the container ones like ZIM, 20s and the 40s. ZIM's up a little bit. And then finally, the cybersecurity. Now, the cybersecurity ones didn't really do much today. CRWD, of course. I mean, it's down from yesterday's close. It's up from the open, though. Palo Alto Networks, PANW. I mean, that one's just a little doji. It tried to go up, but just couldn't pull it off. And maybe even data protection like Cloudflare. Not really doing much, but those would be more likely to rise after a more clear cybersecurity threat takes place, which, I don't know, I'm not a military person or anything, but seems to me likely to be inevitable. Who knows? Maybe some of the outage yesterday could have had something to do with that. So all that being said, these are some things that we want to look at, probably in that order of importance and in that order chronologically of what to look at. Oh, one more, by the way, too. And this, again, further down the line chronologically, but if the conflict really spreads and food supplies end up being affected, then things like Archer Daniels Midland, which actually did get some legs today, Bungie, I can't remember where the letters are on my keyboard. That got some legs today. And maybe even some of the fertilizer ones like NTR and CF Industries, Mosaic. Those actually got some legs today here too as well. And then if you have some of these industries weighted evenly or heavily weighted in your portfolio, it might be time to think about maybe cutting back on some of those, like airlines. We can look at U-All, AA, travel and leisure, like Carnival Cruise Lines. Wait a minute. Carnival, CLL. No, oh my goodness. I'm forgetting the symbol for Carnival Cruise Lines. And I was a market maker in that stock for years. I traded more in that stock than almost any other stock. Well, anyways, Carnival Cruise Lines. Let's look at Royal Caribbean. Oh, so yeah, that's one. Definitely got a pullback here today. Consumer cyclicals, these, some of the cyclicals will just fall. I mean, there's a ton of those. Some of those will just fall because people are selling them to buy some of the other things. Some of the emerging markets also, that might be in the near the front lines there, would maybe be a little bit more dicey to be holding. And, the tech growth stocks are kind of interesting too, because you can make a case for some of them for sure. Like Palantir. I mean, Palantir is data on all people across the globe that the U.S. government has a lot of contracts with that they use for military purposes. So Palantir is up, notwithstanding the fact that it's already at a ridiculous PE ratio, but you're still going to get that bump in the short term. So that could be an interesting short-term play. And then, Microsoft as well, when there are major, especially cybersecurity threats and threats involving the internet and that kind of thing, a lot of people don't realize it, but Microsoft ends up a real behind the scenes player that gets involved, which I think is probably likely to translate into their products or at least better deals with the government and that kind of thing. So these are some of the things that I'm looking at, and hey, I think it would be just spectacular if we get back here on Monday and things kind of resolve itself and cool down. I think everybody's hoping for that. But those answers are easy. I'm giving you the ones to look out for just in case things don't turn out as well as we hope, so that you can, from a financial standpoint, protect yourself as much as possible. Now, that being said, relax, have a nice weekend, and I'll see you next week. This is Dan Pasquarelli, Trade Smart.